Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you're all having a great and wonderful day. Well, what we have here is an actual evidence of Hillary Clinton proving to smear Trump and with Russia collusion. The Tulsi Gabbard has released this information out to the public, and more information is out. So we're going to explain on exactly why this is and why Hillary Clinton needs to be arrested. And I'm hoping that they do, but there is no hope because the Republicans are a very small group of people. They don't like to they don't like to put their mouth where their actions where their mouth is. So again, let's just go over this. So right now we have this for Tulsi Gabbard. She says whistleblower reveals how they were threatened by a supervisor to go along with the Obama-directed Russia hoax intelligence assessment, even though they knew it was not credible or accurate. The whistleblower refused. Yesterday, he released the whistleblower's first-hand account of what happened in the crafting of the January 2017 ICA. Their years-long efforts to expose the egregious manipulation and manufacturing of intelligence carried out at the highest levels of government and the IC detailed in our previous releases and how they were repeatedly ignored. Thanks to you, this courageous whistleblower, and others who are coming forward now, putting their own well-being on the line to defend our democratic republic, ensure the American people know the truth, and hold those responsible accountable. So what we have here, it says this here. Russia hoax whistleblower threatened. Multiple attempts to report wrongdoing were ignored. For 6 years, a senior intelligence official battled political and bureaucratic resistance in efforts to expose the manipulated intelligence behind the Russia collusion hoax. On Wednesday, Director of National Intelligence (DNI) Tulsi Gabbard released how new documents which provide a first-hand account of the intelligence community whistleblower relentless efforts to expose the egregious manipulation and manufacturing of intelligence. This release provides the whistleblower's first-hand account of the work carried out in the months leading up to the November 2016 election. The concerns they raised about the use of discredited information as then DNI Clapper and Central Intelligence Agency Director Brennan worked to craft the January 2017 Intelligence Community, ICA, at the President Obama's request, and how a directory supervisor attempted to pressure the whistleblower to endorse the January 2016 ICA's findings about the Russian government alleged support for then candidate Trump. Goes on to say here that highlights of the whistleblower first-hand account here. Statements from the whistleblower supervisor pressuring the whistleblower to accept the contrived January 2017 ICA findings. Despite expressing concerns about the discredited information used to support these findings, an action that the whistleblower supervisor said would be necessary for the whistleblower to receive a promotion. The whistleblower's refusal to accept and concur with the January 2017 ICA findings, stating, "I could not concur in good conscience based on information available that Russia preferred the candidate Trump in 2016. The whistleblower's concerns and flawed intelligence practices, namely selectively using open source references to Russian media as evidence for the Russian government's support for Trump while ignoring foreign media from other nations, including NATO allies, that denigrated Trump and supported Hillary Clinton. The whistleblower's repeated attempts to report concerns about the false information used in January 2017 ICA to multiple government officials, including the IC Inspector General." So again, we have this here with the whistleblower records also show how former DNI James Chapter and other Obama administration officials privately denounced the Steele dossier, despite simultaneously ensuring that the January 2017 ICA included it. The whistleblower previously reported these concerns to more than a dozen government offices, including the ICIG Special Counsel Durham, a U.S. Senator, and other official whistleblower channels over the last 6 years. DNI Gabbard's whistleblower protections enabled her to investigate and confirm these allegations, revealing the truth about the Obama-led creation of the Manufactured Intelligence Assessment, which knowingly used false and discredited information to sell a lie to the American people. This document would be used as a foundation for multiple investigations and legal actions against President Trump and other senior officials. IC whistleblowers have historically faced deliberate hurdles to reporting and exposing wrongdoing. Political pressures, threats of or actual acts of retaliation, bureaucratic obstacles, and the unnecessary intentional overclassification of intelligence have too often hindered public disclosure, accountability, and reform. On her first day in office, DNI Gabbard made clear that every individual in the intelligence community understood their rights as potential whistleblowers, which includes having access to legal protected channels to report wrongdoing. Yeah, so we have this here. Read the documents that prove Hillary Clinton planned to smear Trump with Russia collusion. The Hillary Clinton signed off on a plan hatched by a top campaign advisor to smear then candidate Donald Trump with false claims of Russian collusion and distract from her own mounting email scandal during 2016 campaign, according to explosive intelligence files declassified Thursday. The 24-page intelligence annex was compiled from memos and emails obtained by the Obama administration in the lead-up to Election Day that laid out confidential conversations between leaders of the Democratic National Committee, and including the chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz and liberal billionaire George Soros' Open Society Foundations. The plot, the brainchild of the Clinton campaign's then foreign policy advisor, Julian Smith, included raising the theme of Putin's support for Trump and subsequently steering public opinion toward the notion that it needs to equate the Russian political influence campaign with actual hacking of an election infrastructure. Smith would go on to serve as former President Joe Biden's ambassador to NATO. I don't have any comment, she told the Post when reached by phone Thursday. Open Senior Vice President Elena Bernardo was looped in on the scheme and laid out its intended effect in a series of emails in late July 2016. Julie says it will be a long-term affair to demonize Putin and Trump. Bernardo was quoted as writing July 25th, "Now it is good for a post-convention bounce. Later the FBI will be put more oil into the fire." 2 days later, Bernardo wrote, HRC approved Julia's idea about Trump and Russian hackers hampering U.S. elections. That should distract people from her own missing email, especially if the affairs goes to the Olympic level. An apparent reference to the revelations of a massive state-sponsored doping campaign by Russia following the 2014 Winter Games in Sochi. I think that's how you would pronounce it. The point is making the Russian play a Russian domestic issue. Bernardo also stated, in absence of direct evidence, CrowdStrike and ThreatConnect will supply the media and GRU and will hopefully carry on to give more facts. So we have this here as well. If we go to authorized for public release by Chairman Graisley. Says these reports reference purported communications of Bernardo and others. In particular, in redacted 2016, TI provided the U.S. government with 2 redacted memoranda that describe confidential conversations redacted between the Democratic National Committee, Chair Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and 2 individuals at the Open Society Foundations, referred to the memoranda as the Soros Foundation. According to public sources, was senior policy advisor for Eurasia at the Open Society Foundations. So, which was Russian and redacted stated in relevant part. So, again, you have a lot of this here that's being stating all this stuff. The Russia investigation was part of what a March 2016 memo included in the annex described as a 2-pronged DP Democratic opposition that is focused on discrediting Trump. Among other things, that the Clinton staff, which for support from special services, is preparing scandalous revelations of business between Trump and the Russian mafia. The special services cited in one of the memos referred to intelligence activities of Obama CIA and FBI, which may have included the work of Trump dossier author Christopher Steele. The memos also claim the then President Barack Obama was putting pressure on the FBI directors James Comey through Attorney General Loretta Lynch to wrap up the probe of Clinton's use of a private email server to receive highly classified information while Secretary of State. So you have this here as well, this being the creation of the Russia hoax. So the assessment published in January 17 concluded over the objections of senior CIA officials, details from the Steele dossier, and an opposition research project funded in part by Clinton's campaign and the DNC. Yeah, so it's crazy here, right? And this is all the described information released by the Chairman Graisley. So, yeah, this is not looking great for Hillary here. This looks like is very, very damning. And it's not looking too great. So, yeah, we have this here as well, that Hillary Clinton approved the plan hatched by her top campaign advisor to smear Trump with fake claims of Russian collusion, according to newly classified files. Clinton then went on TV for the next several years to push the narrative as she knew it was fake. Total witch.
There is a lot to investigate. And I'm personally very grateful that somebody of the stature of Robert Mueller would be there conducting this investigation. He's a totally straight arrow guy. I mean, if it's there, it's there. If it's not, it's not. And I really believe that he will be honest and transparent and tell us whatever it is he finds. But as I say in the book, and I try to explain what bothers me, there's just too many connections to be called just coincidences. There just are. And, you know, some of it is financial entanglements, and some of it is hunting for, you know, negative information about me, and some of it is calling, you know, people and trying to hide the connections and the meetings and the calls and all of that. All of that has gone on. Now, there's a lot of smoke, and whether or not there's fire, we need to figure it out. But here is what's important. Put the investigation into Trump, his associates, and everybody else to one side. There is no denying that the Russians interfered in the election.
Right.
Whether or not they had willing or unwitting help from the Trump team, they interfered, and they did so to help him and hurt me, and they did so to destabilize our democracy, and they have not stopped.
What's not clear from your book is whether you think that the Trump campaign was colluding in this.
We don't know the answer to that. That is part of what is being explored. There are some serious questions, because what happened when the emails of my campaign manager, John Podesta, were stolen by the Russian intelligence services. Then they were conveyed to WikiLeaks, which is basically now a mouthpiece for Russia authoritarianism. And then they were released on the very same day that the Hollywood Access tape came out showing Trump, bragging about sexual assault. Then they were what we call weaponized, so that they were turned into phony news stories.
Also want to lay out too. Notice how she said about the sexual assault thing, right? Well, the thing is that Trump was also labeled on the sexual assault premise. Why is she now talking about the sexual assault, and later down the road that comes out and they try to get him on that? That's the wild thing here. So everything that Hillary Clinton here is saying is just a flat out lie. This is kind of what's been going on with the Democratic Party. And I honestly think that Hillary Clinton needs to be arrested, and I'm not going to hold anything less. We need to arrest these people. These people need to be arrested. I'm tired of not having repercussions for these politicians. When politicians commit crimes, no matter what side of the aisle, they need to be arrested, because that's the right of the law. That is justice. And if they don't arrest Hillary Clinton, I'm going to have zero faith that that this administration is going to have to be able to do anything to solve the problems with their own political party. It's insane. And now we're here, and I want Hillary Clinton in handcuffs, and I hope the rest of you do too, because again, it's the way to save our country, and not to allow these people going on. And I've put into investigation with Barack Obama. Straight up, I'm getting tired of this, and we have all the information here and the documents right here that says this. All right. So if you don't want to believe me, just read the actual documents, because that will give you all the information. All right, guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share. As always, take care, my friends.